Welcome! This tutorial is brought to you by the Research Experience in Microbiomes Network, or REMNet, and the City University of New York. In this video, you will learn how to organize your microbiome taxa summary data file from a file called the OTU table. We will go through the average and count functions and the sort and conditional formatting tools and formulas for the sum function to identify important trends among the samples in your project. In order to follow along with us today, you have received the taxa summary files produced by High Throughput Next Generation Sequencing and the QIIME Bioinformatics Pipeline, and you have opened this file in Microsoft Excel. If you need a refresher on how to open these files in Excel, please review our tutorial called Accessing Your Microbiome Data. To orient you to this table, column A contains the hierarchy of taxonomy for each OTU or operational taxonomic unit identified in the project. Columns B through K report the relative abundance for each sample in this project. First, we will use functions in Excel to count the number of samples in this project. Select the first row of your sample names and look to the status bar in the statistics portion, and depending on your version of Excel, left or right mouse click on the statistics, and in the menu options you will see average, count, and sum are all selected, and we will use those three today. If we go back to that statistics bar, we find Excel has counted 10 samples in our project. Now, for an example, please look to cell E2. The numerical values reported for each sample are the relative abundances, which can be defined as the relative proportion of a specific OTU within each sample. Therefore, the sum of all relative abundance values for each sample will equal 1. To verify this, we will select the sample information in column E. The status bar, statistics portion, reports the average, count, and the sum is indeed equal to 1. Each of the tools and functions we will demonstrate in the remainder of this segment involve selecting specific columns and rows. You are welcome to use keystrokes or your mouse to select the necessary cells. Next, we will sort the sample columns horizontally. Select all of the sample columns in your project. Do not include the OTU ID column in this selection. Click on the Data tab in Excel and select the Sort tool. The default option is to sort by rows. To sort by columns, click on Options, select Sort Left to Right, and click OK. Under Row, select Row 1 to sort your sample by the column headers. The order of sort for this example will be alphabetic from A to Z. You should choose the appropriate sort on and order selections for your project, and click OK. To view the full names for each sample, you can use your mouse cursor to widen each column. We will now explore a very useful tool in Excel called conditional formatting. There are many features within this tool that will allow you to identify trends within each sample and within your entire project. There are also features that will allow you to compare values between samples across a subset of your entire project. Go to the Home tab at the top of your Excel window and select the Conditional Formatting tool. We will now demonstrate the top-bottom rules from the pull-down menu and select the top 10%. In the new formatting rule window that appears, you may tailor several options specifically for your project. We will proceed with the classic style top 10% and red highlighting. Click OK to view your selections applied to your data. Any cell highlighted in red with dark red text indicates an OTU that has a relative abundance within the largest 10% of abundances for that sample in column B. You learned earlier about the sum option in the statistics bar, but now we will scroll to the right of the sample columns to demonstrate the sum function. The method here will report sums for each OTU in your project in a new column. I will start by giving this column a header. All formulas can be accessed by typing the equal sign in a cell. You can type the sum function, or you can choose sum from a list of functions. In the formula bar, you will see the cursor blinking between a closed pair of parentheses. Use your mouse or keystrokes to select the relative abundance values You may also manually type the first and last column letters separated by a colon to select these cells. Hit Enter to complete the formula. To apply this formula to all of the OTUs in your project, you can execute one of three options. In the bottom right corner of your formula cell, for our example, in cell L2, when the mouse cursor forms a black cross, you can click and drag that corner, or you can double-click, or you can manually select all of the cells from L2 to the bottom of your worksheet and go to Edit, Fill, and Down. Get some additional practice using the conditional formatting tool to explore this new column of sums. To review the process again, make sure you're in the Home tab, select the conditional formatting tool, Top Bottom Rules, and select Top 10%. Again, we will use the classic style, top sorting method, and the red highlighting. Remember that these summed values can now identify which OTUs are most abundant across your entire project. We can explore a second feature of the Sort tool to identify these OTUs. Select all the cells in your sheet by clicking on the small square with a shaded half triangle at the top left of your table. This square is above row 1 and to the left of column A. Make sure you're in the Data tab and click the Sort tool. Within this window, you must select the Options button in the Sort window, and now we will select the Sort Top to Bottom option, and OK. Our table has a header row, so we must click the My List Has Headers option in the top right corner of the window. Under Column, select your new Sum column. Under Order, select Largest to Smallest. This is the option that will bring your most abundant OTUs to the top of your table, and click OK to apply your selections. I will scroll back to my Sum column, and now all of your OTUs are sorted by the largest relative abundance sums. Scroll down to observe the relative abundance values that are highlighted in red. In this example, the last cell highlighted in red is in row 128. The conditional formatting tells us that rows 2 through 128 contain the top 10% of the most abundant OTUs found throughout your entire project. To summarize, you learned how to find averages and counts using the statistics bar at the bottom of your Excel window. You practiced using the Sort and Conditional Formatting tools, and you learned how to apply the Sum function. You can now use these tools to identify trends across your entire project or within a subset of your project. For example, you can focus on a specific environment or sample type, or compare specific experimental samples to control samples. Thank you for participating. If you found this helpful, we invite you to view our other tutorials guiding you through your microbiome dataset.